everyone, welcome to the Red Room. Today we are going to talk about Final Frontier. I'm going to say our newest release, but it's not our newest release. It's our second newest release.
Our newest release is called Soldiers of Fortune, and you're going to do a video about that as well. But right now, we are trying to make up for the last weeks that we haven't done anything. You are going to do several videos about stuff. And today we are going to space, the Final Frontier. And I'm going to start sharing the screen right now because you don't want to see me. You want to see the book. Okay. So this is our space game, our new
for
space
Red.
Game for Red. It uses most of the setting from Ratchet Space, updated, and it uses micro Red rules. I'm going to explain it a little bit more. I'm not going to delve a lot into the rules because Red is free. You can check it out if you want to see how the rules work. This uses a summarized version, but the rules are the same. It's just a condensed red mechanics.
The version, well, it is a bit a version of Space for Red, of Ratchet Space, I mean. But of course, it's a little bit different because you're not playing Ratchet characters anymore.
Yeah, so those sins and virtues, that's a Ratchet thing. It's not used in here. And the Ratchet factions are also cut, even though there are some that were adapted.
And we finally had our aliens. Sorry, then you can finally have our aliens properly designed.
Yes. So in the cover there are already two that you can see. There's no AI in this book. The cover is by Kiyosaki. He has another name, but that's how he signs his art. If you think this reminds you of Final Frontier, yeah, that's that it was supposed to. No, sorry, not Final Frontier. Final Frontier is this one. Star Frontier. Okay, so there's other artists also included in this. So mostly Chris Villarosa. He did specifically for this book. He did a few commissioned items. We used some stuff by Rob Necronomicon. We used the Jay Tanaka's last cover for Space. It's included in here as well. And a few stuff by Jeremy Hart and also Kiyosaki. There's also public domain and stock art. Another thing that includes is a bunch of ideas for adventures by Michael Brooks.
Yes.
Sorry, Brooks. And it starts with one. It's called First Contact. Okay, so let's go towards character creation because that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about in terms of rules. So you have 6 attributes, just like in any OSR game, but the names are also similar, but some of the names are also from Ratchet. I kept a couple of them because I like. Just the only reason. Strength is strength, intelligence is the same thing. Wisdom is wits, dexterity is agility, constitution is toughness, and charisma is charisma. So a couple of changes but it has nothing to do with the OGL anymore. It's just because we prefer some of these names. In this case, you can choose different races. Even though this setting is human-centric, there are a few races which are the same as they were in Ratchet Space. I'll mention the names later. Then we have archetypes, which is basically the same thing as classes. And skills and health points, which is the same thing as hit points. Perks and drawbacks are advantages and disadvantages, of course. Okay, so we also have this is similar to Ratchet as well, Origin and LifePath. This is basically this is inspired not in the OSR games, but in Traveler since the beginning. Not just because it's Final Frontier, but because we have used it since the beginning anyway. So it's a short background for the characters that is ruled. LifePath events complete the background. So let's talk about the races. The designs for the races are the ones that Chris did for us. Some of those he had done it before, but at the time I didn't commission all of the races. So let's start by the Adityan. The Adityan are a psionic race, and I changed a little bit the background for these guys, but not entirely. So they are still psionic, and they are still the humanity's parents, or at least that's what people believe. At least that's what they say. Humans were part of an experience in genetics that they did in planet Earth a very long time ago. Then you can be an android or a bioroid. It's not actually a race, but it's used as a race.
Sorry.
Then there's the Dolphar. The Dolphar are aliens that look like this thing here, the worm.
The little ball of snot.
Yes.
Or big ball of snot.
Yeah, it's kind of a
big
large,
snot. Yeah.
a large ball of snot. But they use bodysuits with which they use when out of their own planet. It's the way for them to survive. And the suits give them some abilities. Some of the suits can fly, others are just a type of space suit, others are almost like armored combat suits. They differ.
Like a power armor.
Yeah, like a power armor. Then there are the spiny-tailed humanoids called the Gustora on the left. These guys are originally they were sorcerers, magicians, whatever. They use magic. There's no magic anymore, but they still do rituals and stuff.
They're cute and creepy.
Yeah, kind of that. Before they were very different when they were done with AI, but this is a more it looks more like it should. There's no pictures for humans, of course, you know what they are, and then there are the Jagani. These guys are obviously, as you can see in the image, they are a serpent-like race.
I have a question about the Jagari. And maybe I'm confusing the races. The Jagari are those the ones that are supposed to be good mechanics?
Yes.
How can they do that with those tiny arms?
They wear biotech or cybertech.
Oh, see, it's a good question, so you can explain the.
Yes, so they have tech empathy, which is an ability, special ability. So they are really good at technical stuff. Then there's the Clarish, the four-armed aliens. The ones that gave me a lot of troubles when I was trying to do them with AI, because AI at the time they did it created too many limbs, and then they restricted the creation of extra limbs. So I wanted it to create extra limbs, but it didn't. So these guys are, as you can notice by the picture, they are brutes. They are very physical and they are very good at combat, especially melee combat. Then there's the Ferret. The Ferret aren't exactly a race, at least not a natural race. They were engineered by the Adityan, as they did with the humans. They have a basic flight capacity or capability. Not really good flyers, but they can fly. Then there's the Sarafani, which is I guess, one of our favorites.
My favorite, yes.
Yeah, the Serafani and the Dolfar are probably the favorites.
No, the Dolfar or the
Clarish.
Clarish, yes.
Not mine. I prefer the Clarish, but I think I think it was well, actually, the author. It was Coombs that created the races. I think he liked the Dolfar.
I like the Seraph because I like playing a dog.
Yeah,
and they're not dogs.
Yeah, they are cute. And these guys are good at fighting and piloting because they have very enhanced senses, and so they are good at also at stealth and all that, those kinds of everything that relies on their senses. Now there's the Zangi. The Zangi are pretty weird ones. They can this is their original form, but they can change form as well. They can change into bipedals. And you can also create new alien races. We have rules for that. You rule on these tables, and you can create a new race because the setting. In the setting, these races are the most common, but they are not the only ones. Was there a pause? Was there a pause?
No.
Okay, so I thought it was.
Okay, so
probably not. You can create other races because the universe is a big one, and therefore there should be.
If you're going to be exploring, you should discover a type of race nobody ever saw.
This game, it's unlike Wretched, which was more for other kind of adventures, more like for combat. The default faction for characters was the Wretched Legion. The Legion still exists. I renamed it because it's not Wretched anymore. Now it's the Outer Rim Legion, but there's another faction. I mean, there are many other factions, but if you want to choose the default factions, there are two. The other one is the equivalent to Traveler Society. They are explorers, but there's no beyond here, so they are exploring space instead. Androids and Bioroids are both a race because they have certain characteristics that demands, so they have a minimum of an attribute, but they are also an archetype. So if you choose an android, you are an android, but you are also, your archetype is also android or bioroid. The other archetypes are Knight of Sidonia. These guys are basically our version of Jedi Knights. They are space knights with psionic powers. Leader, psionic, not a knight, just a common psionic. A scholar, a specialist, and a warrior. Okay, so then, as in Red, usually we have less skills than in Wretched. They cover things that are common in space and some other things that are common everywhere, like investigation, knowledge, and linguistics. And there are a couple of specific skills just for Knights of Sidonia. Knights of Sidonia are pretty powerful if you are going to allow them as player characters. They have disadvantages as an archetype, so especially in terms of behavior. Mm-hmm. There's a thing here in this game which is a kind of alignment, but not quite alignment. It's called Spectrum of Humanity. And the Knights of Sidonia are very much obliged to adhere to their code. And that means that they have restrictions in terms of a spectrum of humanity. They cannot go towards the dark side. Okay, so perks and drawbacks, they exist as always. This is the same thing as it was in Wretched, kind of less than in Wretched. These different pages are by Mark Brooks. These are those
plot hooks,
adventure ideas. So here's the spectrum. The spectrum of humanity is like any other spectrum that we have used in Red. They changed their names. Some are the name Spectrum of Humanity is for the space games, and also for New Flash. Okay, so it depends on. There are things that makes this change. So at first you start at 0, and then depending on actions that you take, if you are acting as a good character, as a white hat character, you go towards the humanity side. If you act like a bastard or a wretched bastard, you go towards the corruption. So that's basically that. There's another thing that makes it change. If you start using biotech or especially cybertech, it makes you go towards corruption because it corrupts you, corrupts your body. So, and it also corrupts your soul. Faction standing was adapted from Wretched. This is basically a scale that is also from -30 to +30, and it deals with how you are regarded by different factions. There are a large number of factions, an unlimited, you can call it. It doesn't. You don't have to keep records of everything.
Only of the ones that would matter for your game.
Yeah. If they are appearing, you will have to and adjust if you are really interacting with them. As usual, the rules of acquisition replace money in this game. Some people don't like it, but I don't like accounting, so that's how we deal with purchases. You roll a die, D20, like for everything else, and you add a bonus that is calculated according to the character's origin. Say like a class, but in this case, it's socio-economic class, not character class. So if you are rich, you have an easier job of purchasing stuff, and if you are poor, exactly the opposite, of course. And there are skills that help you buy stuff. Street savvy is useful for buying illicit items on black market, and influence for normal purchases, legal purchases. You have a large list of equipment, from basic equipment, advanced equipment, and then weapons. Lots of weapons, which include lasers and all that cool stuff, ghost weapons, and all that. And a bunch of melee weapons are less varied. And a bunch of options for armor, from common just suits or shields or power armor. Power armor is more options. You can enhance it. So everything here. Then you have biotech augmentations and cybernetic implants. I use always the same skeleton for this. It covers the most common things. So you can enhance your eyes, your ears, your strength, your toughness, resistance to damage, and you can do a bunch of other things. There are the biotech and cybertech are pretty similar in terms of what they do. So there's always a version of the same thing, and you choose. So cybertech is usually more expensive, but that's the downside. That's the downside. The other downside they have is corruption, but corruption is less aggressive than for cybertech. So if you change your body with biotech, you pay more, but you are less corrupted. If you buy cybertech, you pay less. Drugs, there's a bunch of drugs here, different drugs. They always have some downsides, and the effects are usually something positive. Of course, you are using them with a purpose. Then vehicles and spaceships. I'm not going to talk about this because there's lots of things, but so you have generic vehicles and then specific faction vehicles, the Aditans, because they are a little bit different, and then the Galactic Federation ones. So there are examples. Experiences, as usual, you get points that you can spend for leveling up skills, or buying perks, or buying off drawbacks, or it's more difficult, but you can also increase attributes. Okay, combat rules, I'm not going to talk about them. They are the usual thing. They are similar to Red in everything. So if you want to check that, you just take a look at the Red core book, which is free. Major difference is Starship Combat in this, but Starship Combat works mostly like vehicle combat, which is simple. We don't have lots of rules for this. Okay, healing, the same thing as usual. Fear and panic, also the same thing. You gain fear points by confronting weird enemies like aliens, but also from combat. It can, if you are not a warrior type character, doesn't have to worry about that, but other characters might have to worry about that. Hacking rules are the same as in Red, New Flash, and in Red, of course, it's the same thing. But well,
That's Somali there.
New Flash is a little bit different because the computers are biotech, but except that psionics is also very similar to New Flash, or basically the same thing, actually. Crossing rules are things that you can do in downtime. You have tables where you can roll if you want to risk it, because there are possible negative things to happen. And now space travel. Space travel is something that we should talk about, because these rules are new. Not entirely new, they were adapted from the exploration and traveling rules in Uncharted Seas. Actually, the original idea for Uncharted Seas was for it to be a space opera game, but then I decided, okay, let's do it for the Age of Discovery, and then maybe do a version of those exploration rules, which I like. They can be a little bit overwhelming, but there are simplified versions for them. So the first thing we have here is basically just explaining how space travel works in this game. So the galaxy, the brief description of the galaxy, the major systems you have here, how long it takes to travel, interstellar travel, and in-system travel. I'm just going to say that there are different ways of interstellar travel. You have the common travel that everybody, at least every advanced technology can do. And then there's a different, and it takes a long time to go to further regions of space. There's a different option which uses fold gates. Fold gates are controlled by Adithians, because they are the ones who developed. They require psionic abilities or the use of Ragnite. Ragnite is basically the spice from Dune, but it's called Ragnite because this is not Dune. So there's a mineral produced in the planet which can be used as a kind of a drug that creates the possibility for humans or other races to be able to do exactly what the Adityan do, which is to power up the gates. But it's difficult because it requires not just access to Ragnite, which is kind of difficult, but also access to the gates. You can pay the access to the gates. The Adithians rent those gates, so you can use them if you can pay them. Now, there are rules for expeditions, and these are the ones that were adapted from Uncharted Seas. So there's a simplified mechanic where you rule for several steps. The first one is a proposal for expedition, because assuming you need someone to pay for the spaceship or the equipment and all that. So you have rules for this, and to secure sponsorship, recruiting a crew, gathering supplies, and then random events. Now there's a version that is expanded, and then you have a lot of more detail for this. So it's still the same steps more or less, but each one of those have different modifiers and different outcomes. So it starts with the proposal, then you secure sponsorship if you are able to. Then you recruit the crew. There are some different things here, like added from the simplified version, like crew loyalty. How does that change morale? Then gathering supplies, and then we go up to a different thing, which is also inspired by Uncharted Seas, but it also uses some stuff from Wretched Space. So this is earning credit. Like this is not an exploratory voyage. It can be a voyage if you are, for example, doing commerce, or it can be about just jobs, like bounty hunting jobs. In this case, you might have to travel, or you might not. It depends. Go cargo transport. There are tables like in the other one, space trade. There's a simplified version because space trade is a little bit more complex than the other ones. This is the expanded version. And then there are tables in this case, like in Uncharted Seas. If you are doing commerce and not just doing a cargo transport job, you will have different ways and different types of goods that you can find or not. And it varies according to the place where you are. So Outer Rim, Adityan Space, Frontier, and I had jumped the first one, which was Galactic Federation. Okay, so let's jump over this because it's basically the same thing. A list of adversaries, of course. So you have generic alien beasts that are just a short description, flying predators and aquatic predators and land predators. And then you have examples from different planets that are described in the game. These ones are named and have some special abilities. Then you have examples of characters from different races, and then humans as well. And then starts the setting.
And that was the previous cover.
I'm not going to talk.
Yes,
This is Jay Tanaka's.
but I'm not the previous. It's the cover of the last version of Wretched Space.
Yes, the revised version of second edition. Okay, so I'm not going to talk a lot about this because it's a large setting. So this starts at page 223 and it goes to 460. So this can be used as an expansion to Orbital Decay. So it starts in the 21st century and goes up to the 37, the 38, 39. Okay, 39th century is the present in this place. Okay, so the races, we have already talked about them. The Galactic Federation is, we can say that probably the place where the characters will be from. It occupies a large part of the known space, and it's human-centric, as I said in the beginning. But most of the alien races are in Galactic Federation space, except the Adityan, which are a different part of space. And so this, you have I'm going to show it because we have some new art for this. So. This guy here is Elor Volk, the first consul, so he's basically the boss in the Galactic Federation. You have a description of politics and other things about economics and social struggles inside the Federation. And then the Outer Rim religion is part of the Federation's law enforcement. And they are basically the same thing as they were in Wretched Space. They are just named differently. They were the Wretched Legion, now they are the Outer Rim Legion. Besides that, they are the same thing. So they are recruited from usually from jails. They are criminals that were arrested for whatever. And then they are joined in crews. They are given a spaceship, a heap of junk, and they are injected with a bomb. And that bomb is controlled by the ship's AI. If these guys do not behave, they will be killed by the AI, by activating that bomb. Now, the other default faction that I mentioned is the Cosmic Exploration Society, which is a kind of a version of the Traveler Society.
They are no beyond.
Yes, so they are explorers of space, and that's it. Basically, that's it. They can be any kind of character. You don't have to. They aren't exactly necessarily explorers. They can be technicians or pilots. Of course, they need them. So then we have a lot of stuff about the Galactic Federation and also the factions.
Yeah, the factions.
I'm just going to cover it briefly. So, Adityan Star Empire is they were thought of as the bad guys. So they are humanity's progenitors, and also their most dangerous enemies. Al-Andalus is a Muslim faction. They are Muslims in space.
They don't like Serafanis.
Yes, of course, they are dogs. They don't like dogs, and they don't like most of the other factions. They aren't part of the Federation, of course, because they are nomads.
Terrorists. No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get cancelled.
This dude here, Imam Yassim Al-Azhar, is their leader. Then there's Atlas. This is a very hierarchical society. Atlas is ruled by very wealthy, very old people that are basically immortal. They are called the Titans. This piece of shit here is called Vladimir Savinkov, and is a very old dude and ugly. Then there's the Blight. The Blight is a criminal organization, a very large criminal organization. They are basically the mafia in space. They are led by this dude here. He's called Kyle Mazeskania. Then there's the Consortium. This is a post-scarcity utopia ruled by AIs. If you decide to play this in this faction, you won't play the AI. You play like a Kratos operative. These are humans that are trained as fighters. Then there's the Habsburg Coalition. The Habsburg Coalition has a very like what should we call it? They are advanced technological, but they have an appearance of.
They're very old-fashioned.
They are very what?
Old-fashioned.
Yes, very old-fashioned. Yeah. So they are led by the Habsburg imperial family, most in particular Radbot von Habsburg, which is this guy here. So yes, they are the Habsburgs, basically. That's why they are not named like that. The Knights of Sidonia were already mentioned. They are they work for the Galactic Senate, so they are part of the Federation, but they are knights. So
they're a bit of a faction on their own.
Yes, they work for the other guys, but they have their own structure, their own hierarchy, and Titus Arian is their leader. The Nova are bioroids. They are rogue bioroids and very advanced. They are post-humans or something like that. And then there's the Outer Rim Rebels. The Rebels are also the bad guys for us, at least from the perspective of the Galactic Federation. They are the bad guys. If you are playing the Rebels, of course, the bad guys are the Federation. Now, this is not Star Wars, so they are not. If you are just looking from the outside, not from any perspective, there are no good guys in this case. They are bad in their own ways. The Galactic Federation is very corrupt. But these guys, they are not fighting actually for freedom. They have their own agenda. And they are led by a guy called Rourke Sterling, Captain Rourke Sterling, who looks a little bit like Snake Plissken. I don't know if this was on purpose or not. Maybe it was.
I was going to say that the Galactic Federation is bad, but all the other factions are also bad.
Yes, everybody.
Pencil choose what is the worst of what is the less evil.
If you want to play the good guys are the Knights of Sidonia. They are the good. They must be the good guys. They cannot be the bad guys. So they are definitely the ones that you can call the only good guys in this game. They are them. Of course, you can play good guys in any of these factions, but you cannot describe any of the factions as the good guys except.
No, what I'm thinking is, imagine I hate the Galactic Federation, I want to rebel and go join another faction. Yeah, but they're even worse.
Yeah. Now there's the Shogunate Alliance. These are also old-fashioned, but from a different tradition, in this case the Japanese one. Sato Tokugawa is the emperor of the Shogunate, and their leader, of course. And then there's Stellar Imperium. This is also a very advanced and very technological faction, but with a pulp feel. So this is basically Flash Gordon, not Flash Gordon, but Ming's empire. But they are led not by Ming, but by a woman called Vorella, Empress Vorella, and that's it. Then there's the Ziran expansionary consortium. These are the guys who control the planet Zerus, and the planet Zerus is where Ragnite comes. So they have a monopoly and in the use of this mineral, which is the one that people have to use to
fold
temporarily fold. So you have to take the drug, and while you are using it, you can fold. You can power up the fold gates and fold space and travel much faster than using common drives. And then there are several minor factions which I'm not going to talk about because they are minor. Then you have a bunch of descriptions of worlds in the the Final Frontiers space, Star Empire, Aditin Star Empire, and also a few from the Galactic Federation, and also a few rogue ones which are unaligned. If you are not using the setting, you can ignore all this. If you are using the setting, you don't have to ignore it. You can use it. Just as common planets. Anyway,
if you generate your own planet.
If you really want to ignore everything, there's a planet generator, a detailed planet generator, not as detailed as a Traveler one, and definitely not scientific in art sci-fi style. But you have some information here. So you don't have to roll on all these tables. Some of the tables require that you skip some of the subsequent ones, depends. And some of them include details that you might not even want to have. Or if you just roll a deserted planet, there obviously is not going to be a government. So you have a bunch of details, and then you choose, or your roles choose which tables you need or you don't. There are also a few for star systems, and then you have a short name generator and tables for quick namings. So instead of generating with more detail, you just pick a table and then you roll on it. You also have, these ones were adapted from Orbital Decay. So Orbital Station Generator, these aren't as complete as the planets, of course, but they have enough information to create and then the Spaceship Generator. For creating new spaceships and spaceship names as well, and call signs for the pilots. And then there's an NPC generator. It includes a bunch of tables depending on the profession of the character. Of course, this doesn't cover everything, but it covers a bunch of things. And you also have an alien name generator. This is just for
for different races or just for editions?
No, yeah, for different races. For all our races, our setting races. This is based on the names that we had created. So there was initially a list of common names for each of the races, and not just races, also for factions. These tables basically mix the different syllables for these names, and then you roll on each of those rows and columns, not rows, and you select. So it makes it a little bit more varied than it was in the first version. Okay, so the common names are still here, of course. And then there's an adventure generator which follows the same structure we have used in other games. Okay, so you also have loot tables with different locations for these loot tables. Depending on the place where you are, you roll on a different loot table. It obviously can be used in conjunction with the adventure. Now we've kept the scenarios from the first, not the first, from the second edition of Ratchet. I'm not going to mention this, just the same adventures. So you have Twilight of Pleasure, and you also have the chicken. I'm going to
Mega Chicken.
Yeah, the Mega Chicken. Raid on Poultry Planets, where you fight the Mega Chickens.
Or not, depends.
Or not. And there's a short glossary of words, and there's a very simple map, just so you can locate the most important places. And the character sheet, of course. And this is it. We've covered everything.
Is it larger? Is it the larger red setting so far? Or, well, it's supposed to be micro red, but it's not micro red because it's
it is micro red because it includes the simplified rules, not the complete rules. So no, it's not the biggest book. New Flash is much larger.
Now I'm thinking about the ones that were supposed to be micro.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's micro red, but not really.
Yes.
It's the same size as
in terms of book size, yeah, it's not micro. And it will be, I think, almost certainly the largest. It will be, because the only setting that could be larger than this is New Flash, and New Flash is not a micro red game; it's a red game, and it also exists.
Well, you have to show the galaxy, so you have to represent the galaxy.
Exactly. But you can buy it in PDF, so. That's not
that's important thing.
The paper.
It's not available in print yet, right?
Yes, it will be available soon, as soon as I get my proof copy. But for now, it's just a PDF, and you can buy it at our store, at Lulu, or itch.io if you want to. You can find the link for those places, and I should probably mention that more often, but. You can already find links for Lulu and for itch.io in our store. For now, you can buy stuff there, but if you want to search for the book in print, you don't have to go to Lulu and type the name. No, there's already links below the short description of the product. You have links for hardcover, paperback when hardcover when there's one, paperback there's always one, and also digital because right now we don't really need it, but we'll need it in the future. So it's already there by digital from Lulu and sometimes from itch.io. There's just a small amount of books in there, but probably I will expand that later. Okay, so this is Final Frontier. If you want a more detailed review, you can follow Talking About Games. It's just started, so there's just one video for now, but he will do his usual thing, chapter by chapter reviews. So if you want it's obviously more complete than this one, and it's not partial because we're talking about our own game, and it probably is well, every time that someone else does a review is probably explaining things better because I know them, so I can't explain them. That's a difficulty, an additional difficulty to do these overviews.
Well, you can, but the thing is that some things can be clear for you, but not.
Yes, of course. I try to explain, but I'm sure that it's easier to understand someone else explaining things than us. Except the setting not quite, but the rules are probably better for that. Okay, so if you want to buy Final Frontier, you know where you can check it out, and this one is not included in our summer sale. But if you want to pick up something else while you are buying Final Frontier, remember to use code summer sale, and it will give you a 35% discount on most products, except this one, Soldier of Fortune, and all the Pundit files. And I think
that's all for now.
It's all for now. We see you in space.